I grew up in a small town. And one of the biggest hobbies, if we could say that, something I really loved to do was called bow hunting. Do they have that around here where you bow hunt? You go out in the woods and you shoot at deer? Do you guys do that around here in the Bronx? Well, back home, I remembered that one of the biggest interests that I had was going out into the woods, climbing up into a tree, and sitting up there until a poor little helpless deer would wander under my tree, and then I would try to shoot him with an arrow. Now, I would go out and I would buy the best supplies imaginable. I would buy what was called the Copeland Twister. It was like a razor blade edge. I bought the lightest arrows made out of graphite. I bought the best bow money could buy, one that could shoot the hardest and the fastest. I looked like a bow hunter. And then I bought a tree stand. I put camouflage paint on me, and I inched my little self up into a tree. And I had a good friend of mine that was also just interested in bow hunting, and he went with me one day, but he was much better than I was. So we sat up in the tree, and I'm just sitting there all alone. He's probably about 50 yards across the woods. I can't see him, but I know he's over there, and I'm just sitting there. And next thing you know, it's starting to get dark. And all of a sudden, I hear this crashing, and I thought, wow, either a deer just went through here or my friend just fell out of the tree. So I got down, and I ran over there full of excitement, and I said, what happened? And he's like, I got one. I got a deer. I shot a deer. And he was excited. I was actually kind of disappointed that it wasn't me, a little bit envious. And all of a sudden, I began to look around on the ground where he supposedly had shot the deer. And I'm thinking to myself, secretly, I hope he missed. So I'm looking down, and guess what I find? I find his arrow. So I reach down, and I pick up the arrow, and I'm like, brother, you missed. You clean missed that deer. And he walks over to me with an experienced bow hunter look on his face. He said, brother, I didn't miss that deer. My arrow went clean through him. And he says, in about 70 yards up the path, you'll find that deer laying dead. Because when he shot, he hit the deer in the vitals. When it goes to the vitals, it goes clean through the deer. He has a dead shot right through the heart. And only through the heart will that arrow pass through. But the arrow was so sharp, it's doubtful that that deer even felt it, even though it was hit, until it got 70 yards up the trail and fell over dead. And as we walked up the path, we looked, and oh boy, sure enough, there it was. And there's many people out there that says, Jeff, why do you stand on a street corner and just preach your guts out and no one's listening to you? They just walk on by, they stroll on by, and it's as if they don't even hear you or see you. But see, what they don't understand, in Isaiah 49:2, it says, he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver hath he hid me. For the word of God is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, and at the joints of marrow, and at the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when they mock, and when they jeer and say, listen, what you're doing isn't working, say, wait. I didn't miss. I did miss. Because 70 yards up the road, when they're lying in their bed at night, and my voice is haunting them, and they hear the gospel of Jesus Christ and are brought to the altar of a blood-stained cross. Preach the word of God. The word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword, sharper than any arrow. It goes right through them, and most of the time, they don't even feel it till they drop over dead. Trust in the word of God.